Okay, well, I'm still sick as a dog, which is why I haven't actually started Stellar Blade yet, but I'm excited to jump into it. However, a little bit of controversy has erupted over the release of this game, with what some people are drawing up to be censorship in a game that explicitly advertised itself as being censorship-free. Now, the point of this video isn't necessarily the quote-unquote moments of censorship that happened in Stellar Blade, like changing graffiti from being hard next to a shop that says the R shop or whatever to crime, as well as some outfit modifications to make them slightly less sexual, but like if the goal is to desexualize them, then it just like didn't do that. But I want to talk about this topic overall, not these like nitty-gritty details, because I feel that a lot of conversation that has surrounded Stellar Blade leading up to its release has been centered specifically on this borderline, if not fully, culture war argument of the internet, and the sexualization of the game, and how certain games outlets and journalists either applaud or deride it, based on whatever, feeds their, viewpoint and specific gotcha moment they're trying to showcase to the world. Oh yeah, I just remembered, again, I'm sick as hell, so memory's a little bit Also, apparently the gore on Eve herself throughout fights is significantly less than it was beforehand. All I've seen are screenshots on Twitter, so like take all of this with a grain of salt, if you will. But let's assume this is all true and that this happened. I'm not saying that it is, I'm just saying for the sake of argument, let's assume that it's true. I can admit that the reasons I'm interested in Stellar Blade are its striking resemblance to my favorite game of all time, Nier Automata, and a combat system that I'm fully engrossed by through the demo, which I have played multiple times, and its uncanny resemblance to Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. These quote-unquote moments of censorship aren't going to affect my overall enjoyment that much, if any, if at all. I can admit that, and still say that I don't like censorship straight up, for an extremely simple reason. I don't even have to look up the age rating for this game, I can already tell you it's an M. And I looked it up and it's M. I don't like the idea of someone telling me, indirectly or directly, what is or inappropriate for me to watch or to experience. Obviously, like, within reason, right? But if we're talking about a video game like Stellar Blade, I don't need some moral purist to, like, come in to play middleman here and try and act as if they're doing me a service or whatever, or if they're doing society a service. Like, screw off. If it's undermining the original intentions by the artist, then I view it as an unnecessary addition. Now, if these changes were made directly, not because of censorship, I think they were, but let's assume for a second and let's just go down this train of thought that it was the artist's intention to change and alter these designs and to lessen the gore on Eve throughout the game. One, less gore on Eve kind of makes sense to me because it shows Eve's, sexuality more. I could actually buy that one. It's not as if PlayStation is a stranger to gory and, well, just gory games, right? But also, if we assume all these changes were made with the artist's intent, and because of the artist's intent, and that it was their desire to change these, well then, whatever. Okay, sure. I don't get why you would do it last minute, but hey, if that's you, then you do you, sure. My only thing is I don't like the idea of someone coming in and telling me what is suitable or not for me to play, or for me to experience. This ain't recess back in, elementary school where we need someone to tell us what toys we can play with or not. It's cringe to the highest degree. However, I can admit that. And again, this is where a lot of internet discourse falls through the cracks of reality because we just ignore nuance. I don't think most people are going to care. I'm going to still play Stellar Blade because the reasons I'm playing the game aren't necessarily because Eve is sexualized, or that there's fan service, or whatever. I said at the top of this video, the game initially appealed to me because of the music, the striking resemblance, thematically, and aesthetically to my favorite game of all time, Nier Automata, and a combat system that I've played in the demo multiple times that is strikingly resembling Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and I highly enjoy it. It's a game, in my opinion, firing on all cylinders. And I can admit that there's an aspect to it with this quote-unquote censorship that I don't like, which is also apparently par for the course with Sony. Oh boy, console exclusivity comes back to bite you in the butt again, doesn't it? But I can also look at the rest of the game and say, yeah, this is probably something I'm still going to heavily enjoy. You know, when my body wants to cooperate with me. Even right now, I'm struggling to get through this video without going into a coughing fit. In fact, one second. Fact of the matter is that at the end of the day, if this game was on PC, people would just mod in the old changes and that'd just kind of be the end of it. People would probably talk about it for like maybe 3 days or so, and then mods would come out and people would just be like, okay, whatever. You're always going to have that weird sector of the internet that like tries to completely overtake Stellar Blade and utilize it as fodder for their culture war argument, which I feel is more disingenuous and doing a disservice to the actual game itself more than anything, because it looks like a quality game, a genuinely good game, and I can't wait to dive into it. And also I think people have a right to be upset when the game deliberately advertised itself nearing up to its release as being censorship free, and then you have these moments where it seems like it's blatant censorship, or at least it gives off the vibe of being censorship. Try and talk down to people on a high horse as much as you like about, oh, it's not that big of a deal, or why do you care that much, why'd you censor it to begin with? But again, at the end of the day, intention matters in my opinion. It always has and it always will. And like deliberately advertising yourself to be one thing and then go like right before release into the other direction, it just gives off an air of dishonesty. Or, what I think is more likely, this was completely out of left field for someone behind the scenes, and these changes were forced to be made on the fly. Perhaps that's what it is. We don't know. We're operating without full intelligence here. I think for a lot of people, it's fair to want to put blame on somebody or someone. It's just, at least from what I've seen, we don't know exactly who to put the blame on. At least with 100% certainty. I believe there are a couple of statements made about this, but from the sounds of it, it's just all corporate speak anyways. But again, at the end of the day, I'm probably still going to heavily enjoy Stellar Blade. But you can also enjoy something and still call out something at the same time. Like, opinions don't need to be this black and white binary subject matter. There can be nuance and there can be discussion to be had here. I think shying away from that is doing nothing to actually add to the conversation, and more often than not, trying to evade nuance is more so detracting from the overall topic, and is doing nobody any favors. I dislike the fact that Stellar Blade is a PS5 exclusive. I would have wanted this game to be on PC. I wish it was on PC. I hope it comes to PC. But when you operate in the Sony ecosystem, you kind of play by their rules. It's their house at the end of the day, and people keep supporting it. Like, yeah, I agree. At the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, is this that big of a deal? No. Is it going to significantly impact the actual quality of the game? I can't see why it would. There's one argument for the gore where it makes scenes less cool, because it's cool that Eve gets covered in blood from the kill, which I agree with, it was cool. But even if there was no gore, would it affect my overall enjoyment of the game? Probably to some degree, but not completely, if that makes sense. Like, it wouldn't make it go from, I love this game to I hate this game. It wouldn't do that to me. Okay, but to save you all from me rambling on further, I'm going to call the video there for the day, because I think I've said what I wanted to say. I don't particularly want to have to address this topic in the future, or when I start playing Stellar Blade, and I just want to enjoy that game. So I'm hoping I got everything covered here. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts, your opinions on this whole censorship topic surrounding Stellar Blade and the gaming industry at large. What are your views on it? Your thoughts, your perspectives? I'd love to hear them. And while you're down there, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. And I'll be streaming my playthrough of Stellar Blade on this YouTube channel when my body decides it wants to get better, which would be cool if that would be soon. So yeah, thumbs up for me. Stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye everybody, until we meet again.